The great violinist, one of the great musicians of all time, he had died, and somebody asked his son to describe him. And he said, well, the secret to my dad's genius was everything was a miracle in his life. Everything was an extraordinary moment. If my dad was peeling an orange, he would be fascinated by it. Look at this. Look at how this orange is made. That's how we've got to live our life, instead of looking for the problems and looking for the depression.
You know, when you buy a car for the first time, that day you walk out and you see that car everywhere.
Yes.
Well, as you start to realize the importance of WOW, and I'll read you just an introduction.
Please.
If you'd like, I could do it now. Have we got the time right now? Sure. Okay, this is what WOW, the WOW phenomena is all about. And I'll just find the page. It's right here. Here we go. Welcome to the wonderful world of WOW. What is the WOW phenomena all about? Although it's just a positive expression that people use when they get excited, it's vitally needed in today's times. Good news has disappeared and been overtaken by bad news.
Yes.
But if you listen closely to conversations around you, you'll hear the word wow coming up more and more. Why? People want to be excited and people want to be positive. Give them a chance and wow becomes a very important part of their lives.
Yes.
Every day we have an opportunity to put the wow back into our life and wake up with new excitement, enthusiasm, and energy. We can burst out with vigor and vitality to begin each day with a sense of wow or a sense of woe. We can win or whine. We can look for life as a privilege and become alive, or as a duty and die. We can gain and obtain or moan and groan. The choice is ours. Welcome to the wonderful world of WOW. And I'm excited.
That is great. That is great. Now here's the bad news and good news. The bad news is it's a choice.
That's right.
The good news is it's a choice. So if I'm not living in WOW, it's because I've chosen not to live in WOW.
That's right.
We have a choice to respond, even to the bad news, even to the dark stuff, even to the trouble. I've got a choice to say, well, this is going to bury me, or this is a stepping stone I'm going to step on top of, and I'm going to be taller tomorrow because of this garbage I got to stand on.
Can I ask you a question?
Please.
You read the book.
I did.
What did it do for you?
It motivated me to believe for more and for better, and that God is not finished. God is always taking us to the next level. That's what the abundant life means. It means that there is more than we have now. And I believe in motivation. Like Zig Ziglar said, somebody said, well, why do you need constant motivation? He said, for the same reason you need constant soap. You don't just bath once a year.
That's right.
You keep coming back, more and more soap, more and more soap. We need motivation. We need the Word of God. We need principles. And I loved the practical, doable action items that are in here. You tell us things to do. You even recommended a book that you said you have to read this book. So I went and read that other book.
I read it for 3 years, Miles.
Yes, exactly. Put the wow back into your life. We're going to talk more about some of these actual habits, 12 habits that have the power to transform your life. If you're satisfied, if this is all you've got all you need, and you've touched as many people as you want to touch, you probably don't need this book. But I need this book because I'm not satisfied. I want to touch more people. I want to reach more people. I'm going to bless my wife more and my kids. So I'm putting this book into practice. Put the wow back into your life, because we need excitement. We need to. You talk in this book, Ron, about getting back to that childlike attitude of, wow, it's a brand new day. I can discover new things. I can learn new things. I can go to new places. There's still something for me to learn and do.
That's right. The sense of wonderment, the sense, you know, I was so depressed and never knew why. The precious present moment, how there's so many things around us that once we put the wow into our life and once we put that excitement and wake up, it's not, oh my God, it's good morning, God.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know, I'll just say, I'll share this with you, which is one of the main reasons I wrote the book. As you can see, the cover was done by someone, but the site was done by somebody, and I don't want to mention his name, but he was not a God person. As a matter of fact, he was aggravated if you talked about God.
Okay.
And so the fellow, my friend, Kevin, gave him this book and said, why don't you read the book? So he read it. He read it in one day. He said, it was fabulous. He says, Kevin, but can I ask you something? Kevin says, what's that? He says, why does he have to bring God up into the book? So Kevin said, why don't you put the book down? He said, it was too good to put down.
Exactly.
And you know, one other thing, humor is so important.
Oh, it is.
And when you put the wow into your life, I have a section under Golden Nuggets, wow humor.
Can you save a couple of those? We'll be right back.
I'd love to.
And Ron is going to make you laugh in a few moments. We're going to be right back with Mr. Wow himself, Ron Goldman, after it's our privilege, did I mention, to be talking to a Canadian, Ron Goldman.
Hey?
I did bring that up.
Get to that?
I think I brought it up before.
Oh, you didn't?
I can't say it too much.
You said Canada.
Yeah, Ron Goldman from
He is a
Canada
Canadian.
and from the Turks Caicos Islands. Very successful businessman and an author who is literally putting the wow back into your life. Now, this book is available for your love gift of $40 to Rejoice and to TCT. Just call the prayer partner right now, 800-232-9855. Listen, this book will be very worth the investment. You need to have this in your home. Your children need to be reading this, and those that, anybody you know that's just going through a tough time, they need to be reading this book. And for yourself, if you want, listen, some motivation to live a life of excitement and the abundant life that Jesus promised, this book will do that for you. Ron, thank you. Now, we just said before this break that you would share some humor because you believe laughter is a key to getting into that exciting place.
And I have a tough time. Miles, I have a tough time with that. You mentioned suggested reading, which I have in the back. I have a number of books because I think that balance is so important.
Yes.
And so I have books by Trump, a book by Trump, and
yes.
one of the books that that I strongly suggest to read that you read is The Greatest Salesman in the World.
Amazing. I had that book for about 30 years in my library and I'd never read it. It's just, I know it's a classic,
right.
So I had it in my classics and I'd never read it. But after Ron said read it, I get into it. You got to read it.
Well, there's 12 laws. There's 10 laws,
yes.
And one of them is one that you just, you know, as you start to bring Jesus in your life, you have a tendency to get over serious. And they wanted to make sure I did this. Smile, a chuckle. It's so important to have a chuckle every single day.
Absolutely.
And you can't have the wow in your life without a chuckle.
That's right.
So I have a segment of jokes. I'm going to tell you two.
Please.
Okay, one of them is a cute one, and it's little Johnny's in school, and the teacher says to Johnny, Johnny, you're having trouble adding. So let me ask you this question. If you had $5 in one pocket of your pants and $5 in your other pocket of your pants, what would you have? Little Johnny says, somebody else's pants.
That is funny.
Another thing is, you know, a $1 bill meets a $20 bill. And the $1 bill says to the $20 bill, where have you been? The $20 bill says, I've been in the most famous restaurants all over the world.
Right.
And so the $20 bill asks the $1 bill, where have you been? He says, I've been at one of the greatest churches and all the churches all over the world. And the $20 bill asks the $1 bill, what's a church?
Uh-oh.
You know, uh-oh.
Somebody's not giving.
That's right.
pretty funny.
So humor is so important, a
Really
chuckle
is.
every day. And, you know, once we get into changing our life, it's so easy not to laugh. It's so easy to lose the humor of life.
Yeah. Well, the key is taking God and life and His Word very seriously, but not taking myself seriously at all. If you
right.
find people that are taking themselves seriously, well, they're full of themselves, and that's,
Right.
that's
That's right.
dangerous.
Right.
Putting the wow back into your life, Valerie, these 12 keys, these 12 principles.
12 habits.
12 habits.
Excellent.
And I like that because the best way to break a bad habit is replace it with
That's
a
right.
good habit.
That's right.
What are some of the 12
All right.
habits?
Well, I don't know if I should read all 12, but how about the will to win?
Isn't that something?
That's an important one, the will to win. You've got to want to win. What made you, not everybody in your family wanted to win like that. Not everybody was winning.
Well, in my book, I talk that I was an only child, brought up with aunts and uncles, and a mother that never taught me how to do things. But she taught me the will to win. You got to be rich. You got. I went to bed. I almost think as I was sleeping, she was whispering in my ear, "You got to be rich. You got to be rich." And every time that I really got the feeling to lose, I could hear her voice. But in the will to win, you have two forces fighting. One is feelings. And
Yes.
feelings usually are destructive.
Yes.
I gave in to my feelings. All my life, I would take one step forward and 3 backwards.
Wow.
And then, that's the name of my